Okay, I think my mic should be a little bit louder now. So let's hope that people watching this video can actually hear what I'm saying. But today's the day. It is Saturday, November 19th, the same day that this fight is taking place and this card is taking place. Derrick Lewis versus Sergey Spivac. Guys, it's here. Tonight, we're going to find out if Derrick Lewis still has it in him to fight and to win, or if he's lost his will completely. We're going to find that out tonight. We're going to see where both guys are going to go next in their careers. We're going to see maybe a little peek into the future of heavyweight, maybe. I mean, it's an interesting fight, and it's an interesting card. Not too stacked. You know, a lot of people have been saying online that it's kind of a bad card. And maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. There's not too many huge names on this card as of right now. That is a fact. But who knows? I mean, you've seen cards before that they've just completely subverted people's expectations of what it could be. And what it ended up being was maybe a really exciting card with a lot of knockouts, a lot of finishes, and a lot of memorable moments. And let's see if this is that card. Today we're only gonna go over the main card because it's a fight night. I'll only go over the main card. I made some predictions earlier on, and I didn't want to show them, so I just put everything that I made a prediction for to the left corner for a decision until I actually made a real prediction. So we're gonna go over the main card. But first, I wanted to go over one that I feel like I might get. I'm putting, I think that's Ricky Turchois or Turquois, however you pronounce that. I think he'll win by decision. That's just me though, and it's a fight on the prelims. But I think this is what's gonna happen right off the bat. But we're gonna go into the first main card fight. Della Madalena versus Hot Chocolate Danny Roberts. Della Madalena, newcomer into the UFC. He joined this year. He debuted on the Ngannou Gone UFC 270 card in January of this year. He won his fight by first round knockout. Then he fought again in June. Again, another first round knockout in the second minute. And now he's fighting Danny Roberts. So this guy has a lot of hype behind him. 2 first round finishes back to back. Newcomer, welterweight division, 12-2, 10 wins by knockout, 1 win by submission, 6 first round finishes. This guy has a pretty good record, especially for someone who's starting out. But here we have Danny Roberts, who is a veteran of the UFC. He's been in the game for a while. If we look back, he's been in for how long? It just keeps going. There's a lot of fights. He's been in since 2015. Let's look at the map. Almost 7 years ago. Almost 7 years ago, he joined the UFC. Since then, he's gone. I didn't count the record, but we're gonna look at his more recent fights to see, to get an idea. He lost first round knockout to Michel Pereira, who's now ranked. He got his own knockout of his own. He got a close split decision, and he lost to Trinaldo in May 7th. I think I remember this fight. And now he's fighting Della Madalena. We look at his record, we look at his resumes, we look at his wins and losses, and it's hard to say otherwise. I think Della Madalena gets it done in the second round, not the first. I think he gets it done in the second round because you've seen this before where some guys with a hype train, they just fight tomato cans, not to be disrespectful, but it's just the term. And they get mostly first round finishes, whether it's knockout or submission. But once they fight the more veteran opponent or the guy with the more experience or the more popular guy, it tends to come in 1 round later usually. So that's my prediction right now. I think Della Madalena gets it done in the second round. There's a chance he gets it done in the first, maybe the third. And who knows, maybe goes to decision. I don't think so. But I truly believe that the most likely outcome to this is Della Madalena by second round KO or TKO. Muslim Salikov versus Andre Fialho. Guys, this is a good fight. This is a very good fight. This is one of those fight night like undercard fights that I looked at and I was genuinely like, oh, this is a good fight, and I really wanted to see it. And they're not even ranked. They're not even ranked fighters. They're coming in with losses. If we look at the tape, These are their last 5 fights. These are the betting odds. They're near even, exactly. This was one of the harder fights to predict. I mean, these guys are just... They're both really good at what they do. Obviously, Andre Fialho, he said in an interview, it was Andre Fialho. So Andre Fialho, that's my bad. He also debuted on the UFC 270 Ngannou vs. Gane card earlier this year in January. And this guy got his popularity because, look, he debuted in 2022 and he's already had 4 fights. And we're still in 2022 and he's scheduled for a 5th one already. 5 fights in 1 year. Have you ever seen that before in the UFC? I don't think so. Maybe you have. But with top caliber, top tier, elite level fighters, maybe even, you've never seen this before. And look, and he's not bad either. He lost a decision to Michel Pereira, but Michel Pereira is pretty good at what he does. I mean, he's ranked now, so. And then he came back with 2 back-to-back first-round knockouts, and then obviously the fight on the UFC 276 undercard with Teixeira and Prohaska. Decent fights on that card. Not the most stacked card, but you know, I was pretty excited to watch Fialho fight on that card, and then of course he lost. And according to an interview he had maybe a few days ago, maybe yesterday I think it was, he said that he did not train for that fight and he overlooked Jake Matthews as an opponent because he thought he would walk through him. Obviously that didn't happen. Jake Matthews is a pretty good fighter, and he was able to put it on Fialho after Fialho gassed out early. And now he's looking to redeem that loss against Muslim Salikov. But Muslim Salikov is not just any fighter. Look, if you saw his last fight, you would know. He got knocked out by Li Jingliang. The fight was somewhat close before that, but obviously very good moment for Jingliang, very heartfelt, and I was very happy for him. He debuted in 2017, and look at how his fights have been. Big win streak. How is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5-fight win streak. And some of these are knockouts. Round 3 knockout, round 1 knockout, decision, split decision, unanimous decision. So he kind of like went off of those knockout ways, and he slowly transferred into winning some decisions. So this guy was on a 5-fight win streak, and the UFC wanted to give him a shot against number 14 at the time, Li Jingliang, to see maybe this guy can get in the rankings. Jingliang defied the odds and avenged his loss against Khamzat Chimaev from, I think it was the year prior. So, with this in mind, who do I think is going to win this fight? And it was a tough one. And obviously, I really like Andre Fialho, and I really do want him to win this fight. But just the way I see it, I can't see it any other way. I think Muslim Salikov gets it done by unanimous decision. Maybe split decision. I have a feeling it might be just the most close split decision ever, and some people are going to say online that Fialho got robbed. I think that's how this fight's going to go. Maybe Fialho robbery. Maybe Muslim Salikov generally gets a UD. But with this fight, I'm generally torn between a UD and split decision for Salikov. But I do hope that I'm wrong and that Fialho does end up winning. That's just me. But we move into Chase Sherman versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Now, this one has been pretty much completely one-sided. Not on these betting odds, but online and on this website for sure. It's been almost unanimously decided. I mean, if we just look at their records first. Before his win against Jared Vendera in July, I think that his name is Jared Vendera. He was on, let's see, let's just count. 1, 2, or I have to check this fight to see if he lost that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight losing streak. No way. We have to check this fight. Okay, he won the fight. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 fight losing streak. Most people after 3 fights they get cut. After 2 fights, even though sometimes after 2 fights some fighters get cut from the UFC. This guy after 4 fights losing streak, and some of it being in the first round. I mean, a lot of times when you see back-to-back losses in the first round after a losing streak, they inevitably get cut. Most indefinitely, Dana will cut them from the promotion. Not Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman stayed, and he was given one more chance, and he redeemed himself with that 3rd round knockout. And now he's fighting Cortez Acosta. Now, Waldo Cortez Acosta, undefeated. Look at the record difference. 16-10 to 8-0. That's a big difference. Cortez Acosta made his debut a few weeks ago on the Cater Allen card. It was not even a month ago he made his debut, and he's already fighting again. That's impressive. That's a fighter. That's a guy who's game always. I mean, he won this fight, and he remained undefeated. He's got 4 wins by knockout, 2 first-round finishes, and 1 win by submission. So he's kind of a knockout decision kind of guy. And versus someone like Chase Sherman, I don't see it any other way. I truly don't see it any other way. I say Cortez Acosta by unanimous decision. And by a somewhat dominant unanimous decision as well. I mean, I find it hard for anybody to disagree. If you disagree, that's fine. You know, maybe the vanilla gorilla, as it says here, actually does pull off the upset. But for me, the salsa boy takes it. And now Kutalaba versus Kennedy. I don't know how to pronounce it actually. Nzechukwu. Maybe that's how you say it. Maybe that's how you don't say it. But I have a feeling. Do I even have to say it? These back-to-back first round losses by submission. Obviously, they were to high-level opposition. But I don't know. I think this guy's maybe falling off. And when you look at someone like Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's been on top, well, not as of recent, but before this, he was pretty much on top. And, you know, knockouts back to back. But his most recent fight was a 3rd round knockout against Robertson in July. A lot of these people fought in July, like the same day. But as to who I think is going to win this fight, I don't really want to say too much. I think Nzechukwu gets it done by KO in the 3rd round. I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong, but I mean, if you look at the tail of the tape, it's pretty. I mean, it's somewhat close, but I just have this feeling. Even though Ian Kutalaba was formerly ranked, I think Nzechukwu gets it done. Even though it's not going to be super easy for him, I think he does get it done. Now, Derrick Lewis versus Sergey Spivac. This is the one that everybody cares about. 26-10 Derrick Lewis versus 15-3 Sergey Spivac. It's such an interesting fight to look at because 2 fights losing streak, back-to-back knockouts. He lost the interim title fight to Gane, came back with the win against Dawkins. But then again, a lot of people have. Sorry, but like it's true. And lost to Taito Ivasa. Nothing too embarrassing because then again, a lot of people have. But then lost to Sergey Pavlovich, who was pretty unknown at the time. Pavlovich can crack, bro. Pavlovich is one of the greater fighters on heavyweight. After looking into him, we definitely overlooked Sergey Pavlovich. And now we can't make that same mistake with Sergey Spivac. Spivac has been pretty much on top. Other than this fight with Tom Aspinall, which he lost, a lot of people lost to Tom Aspinall. It just is what it is. But then again, a lot of people have knocked out Greg Hardy in the first round. He also got that win against Augusto Sakai. He has a win against Olenek and against Jared Bandera. And he's not a terrible fighter. He's only lost to pretty good opposition. He's only lost to Tybura and Walt Harris and Tom Aspinall are his only 3 losses ever. So as to who I think is going to win this fight. And it's tough. And while the voices are telling me the polar bear Sergey Spivac takes it by first round knockout, second round knockout, maybe even third round knockout, my heart is telling me Derrick Lewis win by knockout in the first round. I love Derrick Lewis so much. He is one of my favorite fighters. Even though he's on this losing streak, I do not care. I think Derrick Lewis, now that he's not fighting under that Houston, Texas curse, and since he's undefeated at the UFC Apex, I think the universe will be on our side, and I think Derrick Lewis will take this fight by first round knockout. Please, please win, Derrick, please.